Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Friday episode. One good question, 50% facts, where we take your questions from Discord. If you want to get involved, we got a Discord of like-minded individuals where you get some exclusives on clothes, early looks, and first grabs at all of our drops. So goodcompany.discord.com to join that. And today we have actually a couple people asking similar things, so we're going to tie them into one. One is, what is your go-to meals for cutting and bulking? And then someone says go-to snacks during a cut or a bulk. I guess one I would just rule out right away. If you are actually cutting and you're locked in, there are no snacks. You can kind of, sneak in some fruit or something like that, but you ain't going to be grabbing a fucking handful of chips and Cheetos while you're cutting. And as you get into your cut, if you're actually cutting, calories are low, so it's going to be very, very difficult. First-hand experience, bulking is not something I'm good at. It tends to be either I'm kind of maintaining, I'm dieting, or I'm just in like a big fuck you mode.
Total dirty bulk.
Yeah, so
Scenario.
Chipotle and stuff, right? Because you can get a burrito and it's like 1,000 calories and 60 protein and 70 protein, not that much fat. So something like that, I think, is something great for bulking. If you're doing things quote unquote correctly and a little bit more stable, adding calories, if you like food, is just too easy. So I might attack the cutting a little bit more here. In terms of like snacks, although protein bars are convenient, they tend to be a little bit high in fat. So I almost make them sometimes more of a meal in my brain.
Sort of a meal replacement instead of a...
because I just don't eat that early anyways. I'm not hungry, plus it slows me down. So something like that for breakfast for me. Lunch is a pound of something, ground turkey, lean beef. I use some fat-free cheese, and I'll choose a vegetable or two, and I'll literally just put that in a big old bowl. I'm kind of a volume eater, and I think you need to be, if you have trouble cutting, you got to find foods that are low in fat, low in carb, high in protein, and have a shit ton of volume. So that's obviously why people slam salads all day. If you moderate your toppings and your dressings, it's just something you can eat, and you can eat a lot of. Vegetables are number 2 to that, so I do a ton of vegetables, whether it be a broccoli medley deal. They have a bunch of weird like cauliflower rice mixes now.
Yeah.
And they don't taste great, but they kind of taste like nothing. It's just like volume. It's just like fiber, some micronutrients, and I mix that up with whatever beef I'm eating. Maybe not the quote-unquote like healthiest micronutrient option, but I've been doing ground beef, like 97%, which I actually think tastes pretty good. Like it still kind of tastes like beef, just not as oily. And then I found fat-free, super like American cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's like 2 carb, 4 protein per slice. It's basically like a protein shake and bright orange cheese. But when you put it on ground beef, it just reminds me of like barbecue as a kid. Like whatever. My dad would like bake burgers and throw fake ass Kraft cheese on top. So it tastes like that. And then again, like a big ass bowl of broccoli or something. Snacks or other meals like Greek yogurt. Varying amounts of fat in there. Again, depends on how much you're trying to cut. Losing weight and like really cutting to look your best can be different. Like losing weight maybe isn't that difficult, right? If you're eating 7-Eleven all day and McDonald's all day, you're trying to cut some shit out, possible. If you're trying to get like shredded and build a bunch of muscle, it does get a little bit more difficult. You really got to focus in on your protein and your energy levels to make sure training is good enough. So having like lowish fat foods and enough carbs in is going to be the name of the game. Beef jerkies when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Even like some Quest chips or something like that.
Beef jerky is so fucking expensive.
I don't know why that is.
But I will say that the Quest like Cheez-It knockoffs.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
really.
not bad. All their chips have kind of improved. I had like their little, onion whatever deal. And really not bad. Are they Doritos? Nah, but for the stats, you really can't beat it. I'm trying to think of what I eat. I mean, the truth is it's like for convenience, I think, and for like mentally staying on your diet, like it's going to have to be pretty routine. So I buy 10 pounds of ground beef and just eat it once or twice a day for a week. It doesn't get that interesting. And I know you're going to click on Instagram and find all these like great recipes and low fat this, but like unless you don't have a job, it's gonna be hard to do. Like whip up something fancy every day. That's tastes yummy.
Yeah, I mean, but there's sort of two philosophies about like what you should eat, and one of them is like eat really bland things so you don't want to eat more of them, and the other one is, you know, hit the macros with the most interesting food you can. And I think that, you know, I think maybe those are things that you pulse off and on to keep yourself going, and some of it is like whatever your personality is relative. If you don't care about what your food tastes like,
Yeah, you better be jacked.
yeah, you can certainly, you know, you can certainly eat toward that direction because it kind of doesn't matter, right? I mean, if you're, you know,
yeah, I kind of pulse off and on. That was a good point. Because then sometimes I'll get so bored, I'm like, all right, let's try something weird, and nothing that weird. But I could make like a high protein quesadilla in the air fryer with like a shit ton of fat free cheese and like a fibrous tortilla. Yeah, and it's just like a change up from eating meat and broccoli all day.
Just sort of one kind of secret weapon in the vegetable department, I think, is cabbage.
Yeah, it's an easy filler. Or kimchi.
Yeah, kimchi, really, yeah. But like you can take, like if you're worried about fat or whatever, you can, you know, kind of just cook down some cabbage in, you know, like broth, and just like chicken broth or vegetable broth or something like that, and you get a lot of flavor and not a lot of calories, and a lot of, you know, or you can just chop it up and serve it as the bed for whatever protein.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do with like broccoli and shit, is just make it some kind of filler, so it turns into a medley of stuff.
Some people have trouble with the broccolis and cauliflowers and stuff like that in terms of like gas.
Yeah,
and cabbage,
a lot of fiber will get your ass.
Yeah, cabbage, you know, can be gassy, but not as gassy as the cruciferous stuff.
Yeah, kimchi sometimes. I'm trying to think. And then, like talking about the pulsing, like you can eat out, you know, like Chick-fil-A grilled stuff, or even their regular nuggets aren't that bad. So you can track and sneak that in when you're, you know, going a little crazy, or Chipotle bowls. You go Chipotle bowls, rice, no rice, and get some decent macros in, and overall, like, decent food. Like, Chipotle's real meat, it's real veggies, you know, it's not, like, totally made up.
It's just a real lot of salt, and that's, you know.
Yeah, but if you have no health conditions, you'll be all right.
Yeah. You will suck water after you.
Yeah, I don't know what else I eat. Traveling's been tough, even though I found a way to lose weight. Because part of the the Barber Brigade show was to go on the cheat meals with our guests.
Oh.
So we'd film some episodes, we'd work out, then we go on a cheat meal. Mm-hmm. And the whole point is that we're trying their cheat meal, so I can't not do it. But we did like 6 of them.
Oh, Lord.
Right, so a cheat meal is supposed to be, once a week.
A week of
right.
A whole week of cheat meals that is like really like 6 weeks of cheat meals. Yeah.
Right, so then we'd, for dinner, I'd just eat like pure chicken breast. And that's not, what old school, or not old school, but first generation internet flexible dieting looked like. Mm-hmm. Right, like go eat a pound of ice cream and then just eat chicken breast all day. And I'm not one to like mega preach balance and all this stuff, but that's probably not sustainable and probably not your best way to go about it. And going off the rails here and there if you're not a competitor, and having a nice meal, Mother Day, July 4th, whatever holidays are around, and you need to, or you'd like to indulge a little bit. I don't think that's an issue. Because people eat salad all day and then slam Pop-Tarts at night.
Yeah,
that's probably not the best.
The problem is that salad, it can be not very filling. And you can eat a lot of salad and feel like you can just keep eating. And
that's my issue with all foods. Because people say about like rice and potatoes, well, just fucking eat those all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Even ground beef.
Yeah, I can eat rice until I'm sick.
Yeah, same.
Like freshly cooked, like a basmati rice or whatever.
Or even like Korean barbecue style stuff. I'll just eat that all day.
Yeah. I could just never stop at that.
I don't really know what's going on. You choose a lean beef, you choose a veggie, you choose some kind of carb depending on your goals, and you eat that a lot. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
I do get a little creative with my seasonings or my sauces. Mm-hmm. That's probably where you're best at. But, I mean, that's just the truth of it. At the end of the day, you're going to have to make some sacrifices in your palate if you want to look a certain way or perform a certain way.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who's just trying to, like, always weigh less and not compete on stage or anything like that, then you can be a little bit more liberal and more creative with it. But don't get so caught up in a diet that's for somebody who's a competitor that you find yourself incapable of sticking to it because it's too much from what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and if you're trying to play a long game, I mean, I guess that's one negative going on to just the industry in general, because the people that do pop off are right now it seems to be competitors. So yeah, they're all going to look awesome.
Yeah,
but their literal job is to look the best human physique they can.
Right.
Whether that means PEDs or just a different lifestyle. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me, right? I'm not a competitor, but yeah, you look at those people all day, and yeah, of course you want to look like them, but they're making extreme sacrifices and getting paid for it in some nature. Yeah, sponsorships or something.
Just as an aside before we close this out, a thing that surprises me is when you see people on Instagram or wherever who are jacked and they don't have much of a following. And obviously they got jacked and took these pictures of themselves so they would like hit and get a following, because otherwise why would you do that?
Yeah, or why are you posting it?
Why are you posting it? I mean, you can obviously do it for your own personal reasons that don't have to do with social media, but if you're posting it on social media, then you really want the approval, and sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of luck, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of collaboration, and then maybe you don't look as good as you thought. Often cream rises is the top on social media, but not always.
And some people, they just weren't necessarily born with a body type that's going to look like somebody that they admire on social media or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, angles, pictures. Posing is so much on the internet now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah, hopefully some ideas for snacks. Sorry that wasn't that as exciting as you want. I'm not Mr. Creative with it. But that's the truth, is you probably can't get too creative if you want to dive in. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday. GoodCompanyDiscord.com to get involved with the conversation and exclusives. I'm Silent Mike, where you want to find me.
I'm at DJ McD on all the social media. This show is 50% Facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time.